Welcome back, everybody, to our Abhidhamma study class with Sayadaw Pinjatika Linkara. This is class 32, and we will be covering the combinations of mental factors, and that will be the first part of this lecture. But before we begin, we would like to invite Sayadaw to open the class with Namo Tassa. Sayadaw, if you would like to lead us.
Okay, thank you, good future. Let's start our today's Abhidhamma study, reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Thank you, Sayadaw, for leading us in Namo Tassa. We will now begin the Abhidhamma lecture when Sayadaw is ready. Sayadaw, whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's start. So, I had take breaks for 2 weeks. So I think you replay the recorded class related to the combination method. So this combination method also, they are based on the nature how the consciousness and mental fetter arise together and recognize and what kind of the recognizing how many mental fetters arise in these with these specific types of consciousness. So in the association method, we have studied in which mental fetter how many consciousness can associate. But this will be not much different if we have already understood about their nature, how they can arise together as the group of mentality. So in the very beginning of the class, I have introduced the group of mentalities and group of materialities. So there, a group of mentality, at least 7 mental fetters, at least 7 mental fetter and consciousness altogether, 8 mentality arise as a group of reality. So when we say about the cognitive process or the process free, we say the Vitti Citta and Vitti Mutta Citta. As the consciousness arise only one type at a time. So 2 types of consciousness cannot arise at the same time. So when consciousness arise, only one type, but the consciousness never arise as a single phenomena. It's always accompanied by the 7 mental fetters. What are these 7 mental fetters? Can you bring? Great.
Universal.
Yes, universal mental fetters. That's why whenever we say, oh, this consciousness arise or that consciousness arise, we understand at least 7. And maybe it is more. So we will find out how we can identify the mental fetters when consciousness arise. This is the combination method. If you understand the combination method, and if you know how to recognize the consciousness at the precise mind moment, now you are listening the Abhidhamma explanation, with respectful mind. So this mind, if you are Puthujjana or Sotapanna, this we can consider this is the moment the wholesome consciousness arises in your mind. or if Arahant, this the function of consciousness. Okay, so this is your progress to convert wholesome to functional, right? If you can convert your consciousness wholesome to functional, okay, so you will not have next life. At the end of this life, there will be Parinibbana, right? So if we see the wholesome consciousness arise in your mind, or if you are listening with the rejoicing mind, the joyful feeling, somana sasagata. Also, you understand what it means, there's jnana sampayutta. So if we can identify, this type of consciousness arises in my mind at this moment as the jhana, although you listening, just this is passive moment. Just listening when you hear something, that is sort of vijnana. We already mentioned that is the result in consciousness. So this result in consciousness, it continue based upon hearing process. The jhana moment repeated 7 times. In that jhana moment, we can say, this is your wholesome consciousness. The first one or second one or third one depends on your nature and your ability to focus on, or asankarika or sasankarika, like this. Then you can identify, how many mental fetters are arising in my mind. Yeah, like this. So if you understand combination method, you can do yourself. Before we continue learning combination method, we need to remember or understand the principle and also the association method. Otherwise, you will be struggling to remember the number again and again because you forget it many times. The understanding will not last long if it is not completed. So, okay, the first one is about the Anyasamana Chittasika group. Just review, we already studied this, right? You remember, I hope. The first one, the universal mental fetter, associated with how many consciousness?
89.
89. And second one, Vitakka, associated with?
55.
55. So how many consciousness are exclusive to Vitakka?
66.
Okay, 66, because this Vitakka is one of the jhana fetters. The jhana fetter is associated with the large number of consciousness, that is 121. And this, I don't need to repeat, right? You already know and repeat many times, and it will be very boring if you already know. But if you don't know and you just need to listen again, the recorded video, right? Then the vichara associated with 66. So just need to be aware. So what are the exclusion for vitakka and what are the extra exclusion for vichara? This. So here 66, very easy, right? In the 54 of the sense sphere consciousness, the only Vibhaja Vijnana exception. The others. So when you consider about the wholesome consciousness, well, so how do you think the vitakka will be associated or dissociated?
Vitakka is associated with all the 8 Mahakusala Chittas.
Right. What about vichara?
Also associated
Also
with all the.
Yeah. So by understanding this, and then you can decide whether it is associated or not. So if so, you don't need to remember all the number in the combination method. Otherwise, you have to repeat and remember again and again that one. And Adhimokka, what about Adhimokka? So for the kusala.
Adhimokka is also in all the Kusala Chitta.
Associated, right? So here, only the Tripanja Vijnana and Vijikicca exception. So Vijikicca is akusala, right? Then Viriya. What about Viriya?
It's associated with all the kusala chittas.
Okay. Also, you see for the exception, 16 consciousness exclusion for the Viriya are all are in the Ahituka, right? Right. If you don't need to remember everything, but you need to know what are the key. Then easy. Then for the PD, the first consciousness.
It's only associated with the four out of the 8 Mahakusala chittas. That's
Right.
associated with somanasa.
Only with the somanasa. So PD come with the somanasa, but not with all somanasa. So which types of somanasa is not associated with PD?
The sukhas are not associated.
Sukha ekagata. 4th jhana
For
consciousness.
jhana, right.
Five
For
materials,
jhana is somanasa, right? But not associated with PD. You need to know this information. And to make easy, all somanasa except the 4th jhana associated with PD. So whenever you see, you know this consciousness, you just check the accompaniment, the theta, whether it is somanasa or not. If somanasa, and you just check it is 4th jhana or not. If not, the others somanasa are associated with PD. In this way, you can check the mental theta, group of mental theta. And for the last one, chanda, ahituka, and 2 mohabodha. So the others consciousness associated with the chanda. And for the first Mahakusala chitta, whether the chanda is associated or not.
It is.
Wait, right? Yeah, this already done, this page. And just want to explain how to consider when you find out the associated mental theta for the specific consciousness. Is this okay? If you walk through, as I mentioned, this Abhidhamma needs the concentration. If you just look at the paper and and then you reach to another page, you cannot know, right? So you need to keep the information in mind. It is the best way to learn Abhidhamma. So can you keep this all information in mind? Right? Yeah, if you know, just go through again and again. And if you can keep this information, and when we reach to the combination method and we just ask whether it is associated or not, and then you identify, and then we count. Have fun, the Abhidhamma study. No pressure at all. And for the Akusala mental theta group, we already identified the universal, unwholesome, 4 moha, ahirika, anuttapa, and uddhacca. These are universal. So if the consciousness is identified as unwholesome consciousness, now how many we already get? Definitely.
12.
Definitely.
Definitely 4. It's always there.
Okay, definitely 4. But if it is conscious now, another group, which one?
Consciousness.
Another group of mental feathers, right? If we identify, this is consciousness, there must be.
The 7 universal.
Right, 7 universal. If this is unwholesome, the 4 unwholesome universal. So altogether, how many?
11.
11, right? 11 already, yeah. You don't need to consider here and there. Just okay. If it is akusala, 4. If it is conscious now, so 11 already. Okay, let's continue considering whether Loba mula, dosa mula, moha mula, like this, right?
Mhm.
For the loba mula, start from the, keep it here, but for the loba mula and the first one, let's consider the first one. Loba mula, right? So for loba mula, you need to know agree is definitely associated because this is loba. And round view and conceit, you need to know whether it is Detigata Sambyuddha or Detigata Vibhuddha. If Detigata Sambyuddha, round view will be associated. If Detigata Vibhuddha, conceit. Mostly, but not definitely, right? We already mentioned this, the unfit, right? Unfit manifest is mana is there, right? So if loba mula, the first one, what is that? Somnasa sahagata, detigata, sambyuddha, asankharika. Okay. So let's count it up to this. So 11, right?
Oh, yeah.
11 plus greed and
80.
80.
80.
13, we got it 13, right? Then let's go back to, we just need to consider, as we have said there, unwholesome, just unwholesome and anyata samana only, right? You don't need to consider about the somnasa group. So let's go back to the beginning out 6. From the beginning, we take out yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Vichara,
Yes.
Yes.
adhimokha,
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
right? And piti,
Yes.
viriya,
Somnus. Yes.
Yes.
yes, viriya, piti,
Yes.
yes, because this is somnasa, right?
Somnus asagata.
Yeah, and chanda,
Yes.
Yes.
yes. So if we all 6 are yes, so anya samana 13,
13.
and the 4 universal
4.
17 plus 2,
Mhm.
19, right?
19.
Yeah, you can count it. For the akusala, you can count. And yeah, in the same way, you continue that. But let's consider about the number 4. No, number 5. Number 5, akusala, what is that?
Upekha tahagata.
Upekha sahagata,
Detikata sambyuddha.
etikata sambyuddha,
Asankharika.
asankharika. Right.
Mhm.
Okay, so what will be exception?
No
Piti.
PT.
Right. No, there's no PT, right? And so in this way you can count. If you know the principle, it's easy. Then if it is sasankharika and asankharika variation, what is need to consider?
Tinamida.
Yeah, tina and mida. If it is asankharika, there's no tinamida. If it is sasankharika with it,
Yes.
tinamida. Okay.
Tina.
Yes,
Sometimes.
it's better. Yeah. Two feather, right? Sometime. And also for the dosa mula group. Dosa mula, so let's consider the dosa, domanasa sahagata, patika sambyuddha, asankharika.
Mhm.
How many?
Mhm.
11, right? Don't forget, right? 11, then
Then
skip this one, this group, and
5.
just go to here. So dosa,
And that's 5 beginninger.
okay, 5
Accepting.
beginner except what?
Accepting zest. Piti.
PT, right? Okay, so
No piti.
11 plus 5, 16. 16 and this one, this group, dosa mula group. So if we include everything, right? Everything, dosa, isa, amacharya, kukucha, so how many?
20.
7,
20.
20. And with the tinamida 22, right?
22.
Yes, in this way. Or if we already mentioned this one, right? Isamachariya Kokucha can associate only one at a time, only one of them, right? So this is not difficult. Then for the doubt, in doubt, the mental fetters of Vichikicha associate with only which one? How many consciousness?
15.
Vichikicha?
Which only associates one consciousness. Which is
One consciousness, right?
One consciousness.
Paṭivedha.
Yeah. So here one consciousness, 88 exception. Okay, slot and top are only 5, right? 5 are the sasankharika only. And okay, let's continue doing this beautiful mental fetter group. So if you consider about the beautiful mental fetters, you just need to consider beautiful consciousness only, right? Not associated with the asobana. Asobana are the unwholesome and rootless.
30.
Okay, so the first group associated with the 59 or 91 consciousness. Or you need to remember Saddha, Sati, Hiri, Ottava, etc. Right? Then Virati Cetasika, how many consciousness?
16.
16, right? But here also we already mentioned that in the mundane, how they arise.
Nana Gadachi.
Ankadachi.
Nana Gadachi.
Okay, Nana means separately, right? And Karachi is sometime, occasionally, not always. But in the supramundane consciousness now, they are associated with, yeah, always and together,
Together.
always and together. For the Abhamanya, 28 consciousness now, and there also Abhamanya, only one of them can arise, right? At a time when the Karuna associate Mudita cannot, because they have a different focus. And they don't have the variation in this case. And Panyendriya. So Panyendriya, Western faculty. So Western is the same as the non-delusion root, right? Amoha. Amoha, Hetu, the same as. That's why only the Tihetuka consciousness. 47 Tihetuka consciousness, right? So we should not forget, if we study the Abhidhamma, the previous information support to the following study, further study. If you forget everything, you know, you already confused. Okay, so let's continue. Then, okay, what is this? Virati, let's see, the absence of mental fetter. This is also important to know. If you know this, and then you can move out from the list. Yeah, Virati, 3 abstinence are not found in 2 groups. In functional consciousness and suffering consciousness. So, and Abhamanya is not found in supramundane consciousness. This is definitely, you know, it is good to know. If you are considering about the functional consciousness, okay, no Virati. And also the suffering consciousness. But actually not only, because you know, we already know the Virati associated with only 16, right? If you know this is, you can decide it. But here, because we are going to talk about the Virati and Abhamanya together, that is why the sense-sphere resort are also not included there. So among the Sovana, because this is Virati, Abhamanya, Sovana, that is why we don't need to talk about the Sovana consciousness. Maybe you think, oh, Virati only 16, and what about the unwholesome or something like this? So for unwholesome, definitely no, because different nature. Virati, Sovana nature, and unwholesome are Sovana nature. Ahetuka also the same. So that's why if we just consider about the Viddhati, okay, definitely they are not associated with functional or supreme consciousness. Then for Appamanya, separately, we say that the supramundane consciousness, Lokutara, because they have a different focus, different object. Appamanya focus on what?
Karuna.
Yeah,
Karuna.
concept, being concept, right? Being concept. Without the concept, we cannot. If you penetrate to reach to the ultimate reality, no, you cannot develop the karuna or mudita, because this is just the mentality and materiality, so nothing to develop the compassion, right? So for the supramundane, what is the object?
Nibbana.
Definitely nibbana. So they cannot represent together, different. And then Viddhati Appamanya together, if come with the Viddhati and Appamanya, okay, we can exclude the resultant. So it means resultant consciousness not associated with any of Viddhati or Appamanya. So this group we can add in. So for Viddhati, functional, sublime, and resultant, like this, if you want to make easy. And Appamanya, supramundane, are sense-pure resultant, right? Two groups. So how many become exception? You just need to know. And when you count, when you consider, and you skip them. Okay, so the distinction among the beautiful type. So what is the distinction? Jhana fetters. So what mean the jhana fetters come in the supramundane consciousness. When they are associated with and they have a different number in the supramundane consciousness, if we count, because if we just generally count, the generally count means the brief enumeration. Sautapatti mega, Sautapatti phala, Sakadagami mega, Sakadagami phala, in this way. If we just count it, 4 mega and 4 phala, there's no difference, right? In the brief. So we just need to count it. Oh, Sautapatti mega also associated with the 36 consciousness. Now 36 mental fetters, right? So what are the 36? Anya samana, 13.
13.
And Sobhana,
Sadharana,
25.
19. Or 20.
All right.
3.
19 plus 3. Viddhati, 3 Viddhatis.
3.
3
Yeah.
Viddhatis.
Okay.
And knowledge.
Knowledge. So how many? 20,
20.
right?
30.
Oh, 22.
23.
20?
13 plus 23.
13 plus 23, right? So 36, right?
36.
So if we count this, how many mental fetters can arise the supramundane consciousness? We are not talking about the jhana. So Sautapatti mega like this in brief is enumeration.
36.
We don't need to differentiate one to another. So all 8 Lokutara Citta arise with the 36 mental fetters. Anyat Samana 13 and except the Appamanya, right? So among the 25 Sovana, because Appamanya cannot associate with the supramundane, we move out. So remaining 23. Altogether 36 associate. So, but if we counter the large enumeration, 40 supramundane consciousness, right? 40 supramundane consciousness. So the first jhana associated with first jhana 8, associated with second jhana 8, like this, right? In this case, if we counted the mental fetters for the consciousness, Lokutara consciousness associated with first jhana, how many?
36.
36.
36 all, right? So if we counted for this Lokuttara consciousness associated with second jhana,
35.
35.
35, why? What is
Except
exception?
Vitaka.
Right.
Except-
Vitaka cannot associate with the second jhana. That is why if we talk about the Lokuttara Citta associated with second jhana, and only 35 remain. So for the third jhana,
34.
34.
34. For the fourth jhana,
33.
33. Okay. So for the fifth jhana,
33.
33. Why? 33.
Happiness is replaced by upeka.
Right. Right. So what will be changed in the Metta side?
Well, no change because Vedana is always present.
Vedana is present, right? But what about the PT? PT already exception, right? So
They
no
already
okay. So this is the way how we can count. And also we understand how the jhana fera make the distinction between the Lokuttara Citta, among the Lokuttara Citta, first jhana to second jhana to third jhana. What makes the variation of the number is jhana fera, right? This is what I need to explain here. The distinction. How is distinction mean? In the large number, that's why not the brief enumeration. Okay, so if you know how to make the distinction, is not difficult. So number 2, the illimitivas and jhana fetas are basis of distinction in the sublime citta. Okay, so let's consider about the illimitiva first. The sublime citta are Rupavachara and Arupavachara. So Rupavachara and Arupavachara, how this illimitiva make distinction? Can you yes? How?
depending on the meditation object they take. If they take karuna or mudita, then they would have one of the illimitable chittasikas. If they
Yes.
take other objects, then there will be no apamana chittasika at all.
Right. Sometimes, if you meditate on compassion meditation, karuna meditation, so karuna will be there. And if you meditate on mudita meditation, mudita will be there. If you just meditate on anapana or something, no, there's no karuna or mudita at all. Now, this is how the illimitivas apamanya chittasika make the distinction among the sublime consciousness. Then for the jhana feda, this is easy because this is jhana consciousness. The jhana feda would make the distinction like the supramundane consciousness, right? If the first jhana, all 5 will be associated. The second jhana only 4, third jhana only 3, like this. So this is how the jhana feda make the distinction of among the sublime consciousness. This is the Abhidhamma you need to consider, and also you need to remember. Not only one part is enough. Then number 3, abstinence, viddhi and knowledge. Viddhi, knowledge, and zaks, piti. They make distinction among the sincere, beautiful consciousness. Yeah. So how they make? So first of all, the viddhi. Viddhi associate with only which group? Among the sincere, beautiful.
The Mahakusala.
Right. Among the 3 group, right? Mahakusala, abstinence, viddhi associate with Mahakusala, but does not associate with the Mahavipaka and Mahakriya. That's why viddhi make the distinction, make the Mahakusala, the Mahakusala 2, the other 2 group to different. This is how. And also Viratti sometimes associate and sometimes does not associate. When the person deliberately abstain from wrongdoing, the Viratti is present, and the other time Viratti absent. And knowledge, on the knowledge make distinction.
Jnana Sampyuta and Jnana Vipyuta.
Right. Jnana Sampyuta do Jnana Vipyuta. So in the Jnana Sampyuta, knowledge is present, and in the Jnana Vipyuta, knowledge is absent. In this way, the knowledge make distinction among the sense pure beautiful consciousness. But what about the sublime consciousness? Why Jnana does not make distinction among the sublime consciousness?
All the sublime consciousness associated
Right,
with
all
Jnana.
are associated with Jnana, right? All Jnana Sampyuta. That's why we cannot say, oh, Jnana is variable. Jnana is making distinction. And what about this, PT? How PT make distinction?
Somnasa Sahagako and Upekha Sahagako.
Right.
In
So
Upekha
PT,
Sahagako, there's no zest.
great. You know, the PT just associated with Somnasa, and it's making distinction from the Upekha Sahagata. So otherwise, it's not easy to understand. But if you just know how to do it, it's easy. So beautiful types. And okay, so here Vibhavini. Vibhavini is sub-commentary of the Abhidhamma Sangaha. So Abhidhamma Sangaha is commentary. What we are studying Abhidhamma is not easy text because we are studying the commentary and sub-commentary. These are high level. Right? So Vibhavini, the sub-commentary of Abhidhamma Sangaha, are added that in the sense sphere Citta, the illimitable are also a basis of distinction, since they distinguish the wholesome and functional from the resultant. Right? So illimitable just associated with the wholesome and functional, but not associated with resultant. That is why illimitable Abhamanya are also considered as the, in this case, this kind of distinction. This is, you know, not explained in the Abhidhamma Sangaha text, but it is explained in the Vibhavini, in sub-commentary. Okay. It is correct, right? Here you see the only two groups. Okay, so let's go to the combination method. You know, here, Lagutara Citta, Mahagata Citta, Kamavajara Sovana, Akusala, and Ahituka. This is the order how the Abhidhamma Sangaha explain and the combination method group by group. In the association method, where it is started, which one comes first? Which group?
Akusala.
In this Samvyoga Neya, right? Association method. Which mental feather group?
Sabha Citta Sadhana.
Right. So we can say the Anya Samana group first, right? Then the Akusala group, then Sobhana group in this way. But in the combination method, is not following to the chapter 1. The chapter 1, Akusala comes first, then Ahituka, Kamavajara Sobhana, Mahagata, and Lokutara. But in the combination method, it starts from Lokutara. Yes. So why it is started in Lokutara? As to start from, you know, we can say this is easier. And how many consciousness here? You see how many mental feathers in 36, right? Already counted. We don't need to explain a lot. You know? You already know. Keeping the principle in mind, not that difficult. So let's review. Here, how many methods? 5.
5.
5 method combination. Because on 33 Neya, we need to know. Then for the Mahakata, So if you remember the previous slides, information in the previous slide is easy, you know, Anya Samana or in the Mahagada. But this is because we are talking about the mental fetters, you know, overall mental fetters associated with the Mahagada. But if we say the Pijana, so what will be exception among the Anya Samana 13?
Vidya, Visara, Piti, Sukha.
Vidya, Vichara, Piti.
Piti,
And also in Sukha, but still Ubeka is Vedana, feeling were associated, right?
Mhm.
So 3 will be exception like this. And for the 4 jhana also with the Vichara, Piti, right? In this way. But if we say overall of mental fetters associated with the 27 Mahagata, we just need to count 35 in this way. In the Alankara method, you know, we use this method. And also the advanced level of Abhidhamma study, we need to know specific mental fetters and mental fetter associated with specific consciousness, or mental fetters associated with group, you know. If we say the unwholesome mental fetter, unwholesome consciousness, 12, right? So just say that, oh, how many mental fetter can associate with 12 unwholesome consciousness? Can you say?
14.
27.
Okay, 27. Don't forget Anya Samana group, right? So 27. But if we say, oh, Mahamula 2,
15.
15, right? What are the exceptions and why?
Well,
No,
no,
lottery and doorstep. No,
oh,
no Greek.
Let's
Greek.
count again, right? So how many?
oh, no PT,
Okay, no PT,
no Chanda.
no Chanda. You remember only two, but
And then
No,
no Abhimoka if it is
no
Vichikicha
Greek.
Samyutta.
Greek
okay,
triad.
if we say 2 together, Adhimokkha should not be exception because it associates with the one of Uddhaja Sagata. Okay, so definitely no BD, no Chanda. Because, and also
No Greek triad and hatred tetrad.
so many exceptions, right? So greed, hatred, greed, group, right? Bhava, Ditti, Mana also no. So 5 we got. Then Dosa, Isa, Maitreya, Okuja also. So 9 exception.
Also no Asankarika and Sasankarika.
Yeah.
No more than 2.
So it means that Tinamida also become exception.
11.
So how many remain?
16.
Okay, let's count from the beginning. You know, 7 universal and Moha Chatugat 4. So altogether 11. Don't forget 11, right?
11.
Then you just count from the Vitaka, Vichara, no piti,
Abhimoka,
Adhimokkha,
Viriya.
Viriya. Yeah.
No Chanda.
So how many?
15.
15 or 16?
Then also Vichikicha.
Vichikicha.
And that becomes 16.
So in this way, if we just say a group, you know, how small we need to consider, and also how many mental fetters can associate, at least, you know, overall enumeration. This is also important, you know. If we talk about the, you know, as mentioned in the Abhidhamma Sangha, you can check every time, but you can make a mistake if we say in group. Sometimes if we just say the 10 akusala. 10 akusala consciousness, Drihetuka, right? Well, we already know, right? Drihetuka consciousness, 10. What are these 10 Drihetuka consciousness?
8 Lobha Mula and 2 Dosa Mula.
Right, the two form a two group, Lobha Mula and Dosa Mula group. So for these 10 akusala chitta, how many mental fetters can associate? Like this, right? So Vicikiccha will be exception. Only one, right? Because there's no Vicikiccha consciousness. Okay, so just remind you need to play with these group. That's making smaller and making larger. But sometimes, if you understand, or if you have studied, well, I understand this one, and you may think, oh, okay, this is enough. But another time, when the group come together, and if you are asked how many mental fetters, you got confusion, right? Again. Okay, so don't worry, just need to play and have fun studying Abhidhamma, considering about this. And for the Kamavachara Sopana group, it is easy. Two group, all Anya Samana 13 and a beautiful mental fetter 25 altogether, 38 consciousness. This is at most, right? At most. If we narrow down, only Mahakusala, or only Mahawipaka, or only Mahakriya, it will be different, right? Then we will learn. And for the Akusala, well, here 12 Neya, right? Here you see the 5, 12. Then for the Akusala group, Anya Samana and Ahusa altogether are 27. 27. And also, if we narrow down, and you can play with that. And for Akusala, this is 7. And for the Ahituka, rootless, Anya Samana, except Chanda, here only 12. Ahituka does not include in the Akusala and Sopana. So because the Sopana has a specific mental fetters group and Akusala have, but for the Ahituka, there is no Ahituka Jidasika, right? Remember, if we connect the group of consciousness to the mental fetter, so Akusala to Akusala and Sopana to Sopana, beautiful. But for Ahituka, there is no specific group of mental fetter for it is all. That's why only Anya Samana. But even in the Anya Samana, Chanda is not present. That's why only 12. Now, if you consider how many mental fetters can associate with the Ahituka consciousness, at most 12, only 12. For the Dvipanja Vijnana, only 7, right? Okay, let's consider. So here only 4 Neya, because it's very easy. So here altogether 33 Neyas mentioned in the Abhidhamma Sangha, the combination method. Just need to remember, right? This page is very useful. If you are not aware of this information and trying to learn the combination method is double difficult, Okay, so let's start from the supramundane consciousness group. So supramundane consciousness also, as I mentioned, in the brief enumeration, there's no difference. How many?
36.
36 only, Sotabadi Mega also 36, and Sakarakami Mega 36, no different. But in the large number, enumeration is different. So we already counted, just see how many for first jhana.
36.
36, right? For how many for second jhana?
35.
Yeah, this is, I don't need to explain, right? If you can keep in mind, the principle are easy. why it become 35 is except
Vitaka.
Vitaka.
you know, Vitaka make difference. This one, the Abhamanya is always absent, you know, always absent. That's why 36 and that's why 35. And Vitaka make different. So in this way, you see the jhana feather make the distinction. Then for the third jhana, 34. Vitaka, Vichara, exception. Okay, for the fourth jhana,
33.
33, Vidyaga, Vichara, Piti. For the fifth jhana,
33.
33, the same. What is the difference between these two group of 33?
Dukkha is replaced by Upekha.
Right. So fourth jhana associated with the mental feather of feeling as a happiness, and in the fifth jhana it is equanimity. Just take a note here with happiness and sukha, and with upekha, that's different and very easy. If you just follow the text, you know, it's not easy. Text explained in different way. Okay, so here, if we identify according to the feeling, so the former four jhana associated with joyful feeling, the last one associated with equanimity feeling. Okay, so this is done, you know, for the first fight. Okay, second fight, let's go. The Mahagata consciousness. Mahagata, how many consciousness Mahagata?
27.
27.
So 27 is according to the chapter 1 classification. How we classify?
Jhana.
In the chapter 1?
15 Rupa Vajra plus 12 Arupa Vajra.
Right. So Rupa Vajra and Arupa Vajra. This is the classification as mentioned in the Citta chapter. So, but to make easy understanding, and we classify in this way. So first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, each of them have 3 members. And the fifth jhana, 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are these 3 first jhana?
Wholesome, resultant, and functional.
Good. Wholesome, resultant, and functional. Each of them belong to that. But in the fifth jhana, wholesome, resultant, and functional, 3 Rupa Vajra and 12 Arupa Vajra. Altogether, 15. So if you understand this classification, we can find out. Okay, let's consider what is the number at most for the supreme consciousness?
35.
35 except
Virati.
Right? Virati. Right. So if you know, it means 35 is a virati, means altogether in Sobhana we understand the Anya Samana 13 and Sobhana 25, altogether 38. If we make the virati 3 as exception, 35 remain. So at most 35. So for the first jhana, because there's no exception for the virati, vitaka or vichara in the first jhana, all are associated. That is why the at most, you know, we get the 35. But here also it can make different distinction by abhamanya, right? Sometimes abhamanya and sometimes not abhamanya. And this variation you need to know, because you know we will explain this later, and how this make distinction and how we can get the number. You know, if we know the at most number, and it's okay. And for the second jhana, how many?
34. Except
34.
Vitaka.
Okay. For the third jhana,
33.
33. And fourth jhana,
32.
32. Vitaka, Vichara, Piti. Easy, right? And for the fifth jhana,
30.
30. Why 30?
It's not associated with
Guna and
Abhamanya.
Mudita.
Yeah.
Guna and Mudita.
So the Vitaka, Vichara, Piti is the same, right? With the fourth jhana. But here, Abhamanya, why Abhamanya and Virati? So Virati is common exception. for all Mahagata consciousness. But why not Abhamanya?
Because in fifth jhana, it is upekha. They are not
Definitely Upekha, right?
objectivists.
Yeah, definitely Upekha. So Upekha is one of the, the Brahma Vihara. If we count the 4 complete set of Brahma Vihara, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekha. So each one of them, when one is present and the other will be exception. So Upekha nature is against to the other 3, especially. So if I think I already explained the meditation, that when you develop the loving kindness meditation, you can reach out up to the 4th jhana and Karuna, Mudita also, but you cannot reach to the 5th jhana by practicing Karuna, Metta, Karuna, Mudita. Only when you practice the Upekha meditation, you can reach Upekha meditation on the equanimity quality. You can reach to the 5th jhana. And that's why, the Abhamanya also making a distinction 5th jhana from the former 4th jhana. Okay, so this is how we understand. Okay, I think it's enough for today. Easy, if we stop here and you remember how easy understanding about the combination method. If we start in the difficult point, you may think, oh, very difficult, right? So let's start in the easy point. Thank you for your attention. And
Thank you, Spiata, for the Abhidhamma lecture. We will now begin the question and answer session on the Zoom meeting. For everyone else joining us only on the stream today, thank you for joining us. The live stream will end here, and we will continue the question and answer on Zoom. May all beings be healthy, happy, and peaceful, and may we soon all realize the eternal peace of Nirvana. Thank you.